yes, a career in hospitality is absolutely something that you can do for the rest of your life, and you can change roles and you can travel and you can do things. But also there's an opportunity, if you want to pursue a career in another industry further down the line, you've actually gained some really transferable skills in the process that will stand you in very good stead regardless of what you do. We see some students coming through the system here who had no intention at the beginning of pursuing a career in hospitality, didn't really know what they wanted to do when they started, but because of the teamwork, the social aspect of it, the skills that you gain, the softer skills that you gain, they've fallen in love with it and are now looking at it as a career. I think the fact that it's a global industry. My own journey. I started in Scotland. I went to the United States. I ended up in South Africa. I came back to Scotland. If you've got the desire to travel and you've got some skills and qualifications behind you, then the world's your oyster, and you can go wherever you want. So we've always focused here, I suppose, on hotels and restaurants in the past. But if you're talking kitchen roles, you could work on a train, you could work in a prison, you could work at a school cafeteria, you could be on cruise ships, you could be doing contract catering, you could work in catering in an office or for a business. Front of house roles could be a restaurant, could be a coffee shop, a cafe, but also things like visitor centres, maybe events, function venues and things. And obviously quite a lot of now small-scale business roles, a lot of people going into business as bakers and making little cakes and patisserie and things. So even things like product development for supermarkets and larger companies, there's a huge range of things that you can get involved in. So what hospitality builds is confidence, and I think you need a bit of confidence in order to succeed in the industry. But again, from a student point of view, if you're starting life out in the hospitality industry, you get that confidence built. You have to be able to work as part of a team. You have to be able to communicate properly. You have to be able to solve problems. You have to be resilient. There's an element of having to have a thick skin to some extent, but actually I think there's a huge range of skills that the hospitality industry requires, but also develops as you work your way through. So I think, again, probably the biggest thing, I think it transforms people when they work in the hospitality industry. And again, in my current role, we see a lot of young people coming in who maybe lack some of these things that I'm speaking about. So they lack a bit of resilience. They tend to give up, a little bit easily at the first hurdle. They expect things just to happen straight away. And also sometimes maybe from a social point of view, they're not used to working as part of a team or in a group of people. And working in the hospitality industry, you've got no choice but to develop those skills. And I actually think it's a really, really supportive industry, particularly nowadays, really supportive industry, and one where you'll be guided and supervised as you work up through the levels, and you'll take on all these skills. I think common misconceptions, and some of this is to do with negative impact, I think, from television, for example. So there's common misconceptions that every kitchen has a head chef in it who shouts and screams and throws things. There's also a common misconception that you work 24 hours a day in a hot environment with pressure and noise and all these other things. And yes, there are times when those sorts of things happen, but they're few and far between nowadays. The industry's changed quite a bit. Since I started anyway, about 25 years ago, it's changed drastically. I think, again, role models on TV and for what young people might look at, there is quite a range. There's a lot of female chefs on TV, there's a lot of male chefs on TV. There are a lot of people who you can look up to and maybe aspire to. And we have some of our most recently very successful students, including one who's recently got a Michelin star in Glasgow for the first time in 20 years, Lorna McNee. She's a fantastic example to everybody, and somebody who students can look up to and young people can look up to as well. So there are options for how you start within hospitality, and I think that's another huge advantage, that you can take up an apprenticeship or go directly into the industry, for example, and work your way up from the bottom. You can study hospitality and related things at school and then maybe go on to college, for example, for a college education. Or you can, you get some people who are self-taught and will literally go into it by themselves and work their way up through the system that way. But there are so many options for how you can go about doing it, so many resources, so many people, I think, who are willing to give you the information and give back to the industry that's helped them. Just a huge range of choices. So. the experience that can be gained by coming to an educational provider, such as a college, a school, whatever, to actually get a bit of experience under your belt, to have an opportunity to work in a controlled but realistic working environment with supervision and guidance. We just see that it transforms people. It genuinely does. And we're quite passionate about what the education that we provide at college and the benefit that that can have for young people. And so I would just actively encourage anyone who's even thinking about it, ask questions, get in touch, speak to your guidance teachers, whoever you want to. Come and see us at college if you would like as well. We'll happily show you around and answer the questions, and you never know.